Designing a room or apartment from scratch can often be a challenge due to a number of things involved. From color and design style, all the way to furniture size and placement. Many times, we're often left with a place that feels disjointed, lacking personality, or one that feels like it's straight out of a showroom. Before starting the design phase of the project, I'll typically start by assessing the space and asking some of these questions. What are the functional needs of this room? This can be things like extra storage for shoes, a place to work and lounge, or a 6-seater dining table for entertaining. Next is to consider your lifestyle. The design of a home will differ for someone who works from home or simply need the occasional desk to do some reading or research. The needs of an artist will also differ from a coder. Same thing with the rest of the house. Do you spend a lot of time at home? Do you like entertaining? Do you watch a lot of TV or prefer laying in bed? Do you cook daily or once a week? All this is an important factor to put into consideration. When doing a makeover on existing space, it is also important to consider if there are pieces that you want to keep or don't mind parting with. Finally, having a budget in mind will also help later on in order to allocate them more wisely. To organize and connect all of this information, I like to use the app Milanote. It is an extremely powerful tool where you can freely drag and drop elements and structure your thoughts by using subboards, columns, and arrows. There's also many options of pre-designed template, including several for interior design, which you can easily customize to suit your needs. Here, I'm using my own version based on the interior design brief template. The next part is one of my favorite steps, finding your style and setting up a visual language. I like to utilize Pinterest for this and create a dedicated Pinterest board for every project I'm working on. My general advice is to simply pin everything that piqued your interest, whether it be the design style, color, or specific furniture. The great thing about Pinterest is that it will start recommending more relevant images based on your past activity. Once I have a collection of images, I'll go through the board and trim down a few things which looked out of place. The goal here is to get a general sense of the vibe you're drawn to. For layout or specific ideas, I like to create a separate board, like this long custom shelving concept which I utilize for my living room. To keep everything in one place, Milanote has a handy web clipper extension where you can easily save a whole board or simply tap on the Milanote icon on each images. These images will then go straight into the unsorted area of the Milanote board you've chosen, where you can simply arrange them or add specific notes to reference your thoughts. If you're still unsure at this stage, go through each image and add a caption to describe what you loved about it or what drew you to pin the image. Once this is done, I'll take some measurements of the space using a laser measuring tool and draft up a quick floor plan. This one is a free software called Floor Planner, which I often use to get a sense of the scale of furniture and make sure there is enough room between objects. You can also use a painter's tape to mark your wall or floor to get an idea if a furniture will fit or how it will look in your space. Then, I'll begin researching for furniture pieces and constantly reference to the style and aesthetic of the board. Budgeting also comes into place here, as you don't want to be spending $3,000 for a sofa on a $5,000 budget and end up with nothing but a couch, table, and a rug. For personal projects, I'll usually narrow down to roughly 3 choices per category, as I have a general sense on what I'm drawn to. Milanote's web clipper here is extremely useful as it also saves a direct link to the product page for easy reference. To avoid decision fatigue, I'll first decide on the major piece or focal point of the room, such as a couch, rug, wallpaper, or bed frame. Another useful tip is to repeat the same wood or metal tones at least twice in a room, as it will provide continuity and structure to your space while also narrowing down your furniture choices. Once I've decided on the main piece, I began playing around with a few combinations and pulling together some mood boards inside Milanote. Most images from the web will have a background which makes the board look messy, so I'll typically edit them out before assembling the board. I personally use Photoshop as I have their subscription and save the images as PNG with transparent background. There's also plenty of free options out there like remove.bg, although there is less control and is limited to low-res images. Milanote has a really cool new feature which generates complementary color swatches based on the images that already exist within your board. If you have a specific color that you want to add, you can also simply drag out a node, paste a color code, and it will create a swatch for you. The Dulux Color Atlas is a very useful website to search for paint color, which also includes the hex code in each of their paint colors. I'll then mix and match the pieces and create a few boards next to each other for easy reference. I like to size each pieces to a realistic scale, as it will result in a more accurate representation of what it will look like in real life. When choosing a rug size, one of the biggest mistakes is a rug that is too small. Generally, you want the rug to be at least 15 cm wider than the sofa on both sides, and have the front legs of the sofa and all chairs to rest on top of it. This layout will typically make your room feel more spacious. With a larger room, you can also consider having all the sofa legs and chairs to be on the rug. For coffee tables, it should be at least half up to 2/3 the length of your sofa, or half to 2/3 of the horizontal seat of a sofa with chaise. Once I figure out all the furniture pieces, it is now time to sprinkle in some decor items. This is where I like to incorporate colors or introduce some contrast. Picking a color palette can be done much earlier or later, but it's always something that you have to think about eventually. For designers or those who like a ton of color, there are no real rules to creativity. However, it is always a good idea to combine both warm and cool tones, include some neutrals, and have a few pieces that tie the color together. Blues and metals like polished nickel are considered cool, while yellows, woods, and leathers are warm. A well-balanced and inviting room will always have a combination of warm and cool tones, but it doesn't have to be equal. What you want to avoid is having only one. The final part is styling. This is where you get to make the room special and unique to you. It is extremely common to change things around and make mistakes, but don't be afraid to try something new. Play around with your lamps, books, and decorative objects until you're happy with how it looks. And that is a quick overview of my design process. While it does take some time and patience, it is worth the effort when you get to come home and relax in a space you love. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.